If you've ever lost a loved one, I hope this week's message might bring you some encouragement and comfort in that situation. As we continue through Luke chapter 2, we come across verses 36 and 37, and we're introduced to another prophet. Her name is Anna, and Anna has a story. Anna lost her husband. He passed away for reasons unknown. The Bible doesn't tell us, but I think we can certainly understand what Anna's going through. When we lose a loved one, a lot of times it rocks our world, doesn't it? It might be unexpected. We might be angry. We're disappointed. We're confused. We don't know why this happened. We got that big hole in our heart that man, we just want filled. And that's what I want to talk about today, because Anna's life here is an example of how, as Christians, we should deal with grief. It tells us that when her husband died, they had been married 7 years. So, obviously getting married and being with somebody for 7 years, that relationship runs deep. But then after he passed away, she spent the remainder of her life pretty much. She's 87 years old in the temple of God. Verse 37 tells us she never left the temple, but she stayed there day and night, worshiping God with fasting and prayer. And that's what I want to talk about, is Anna went to God in her grief, in her struggles, in her anger, in her disappointment. She didn't really know what was going on, but she knew God did. And she sought him in her sorrow. And it makes me think back to David in Psalm 23. Let me read that for you. He says in verse 4, "The one thing I ask of the Lord, the one thing I seek most, is to live in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, delighting in the Lord's perfections and meditating in his temple." I think that that's what Anna was doing. She was seeking the Lord most in her life, even when she didn't understand, even when she was angry, even when she didn't know what the future looked like. She took it to the extreme maybe and went and actually lived in the temple, but she did things we can do. She worshiped God. She prayed to him. She sought that relationship with him, that comfort that only he can bring, because he promises us hope. He promises us that one day every tear will be wiped away. Every wrong will be made right. And we will be able to dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of our life. And he will comfort us. He will bring us that relief that we're looking for, just knowing that there's something bigger than the disappointments and the anger that we deal with in this world every day, this broken world, just that we will be able to dwell in his house. And this is where it says in Psalm 27 about meditating in his temple. While Anna took that as the physical temple maybe, and she actually did dwell there and sought him there, we need to remember that our bodies are the temple of the Lord. The Lord lives in us, the Holy Spirit. We can seek him 24/7, anytime, where we're dealing with those issues of grief, sorrow, emptiness. He's the only one that can fill that void. And we should be looking to him in those times to help us through that, to comfort us, to counsel us, to give us his love. And I just hope that encourages you to know that God is in you. He's got more for us than we can understand. And yeah, it hurts when we lose somebody that we love. But God will help us through that. He'll help us maybe bring understanding to that and relief to that. So I just hope that in your sorrow, in your disappointment, you do look to the Lord and just try and build that relationship with him that can fill that hole in your heart more than anything ever could. I just hope that encouraged you a little bit this week, and we'll catch you next week on Wednesday Wisdom.